I think it's big catalytic change, Scott, and we're still early. Like, I'm not sure everybody else would say what I just said, but the writing is on the wall here. And I think that Bitcoin is through the worst of the crisis. And at this point, we're poised for the next bull run. And it should be a much more pleasant bull run because
Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Crypto. During a recent Twitter Spaces chat, hosted by Scott Melker, Michael Saylor highlighted the crucial developments of the past year that have encouraged people to look towards Bitcoin as a viable alternative to conventional banking systems. Saylor has been a strong advocate of Bitcoin, and his company MicroStrategy holds 138,955 Bitcoins, worth around $3.8 billion at current prices, with an average purchase price of $29,817 per coin. Saylor believes that recent events have proven that Bitcoin has decoupled from risk assets, and the narrative surrounding it has changed, as people realize that every other asset class involves greater risks due to relying on a trusted party. He noted that Bitcoin is a bank in cyberspace, with no counterparty risks and no management team. It is a protocol that runs independently of human intervention, thus it is not subject to corruption or mismanagement. From Saylor's perspective, as more institutional investors realize that the banking model and fiat system are broken, there will be a massive flow of money coming to Bitcoin. Let's listen to Michael Saylor as he breaks down what's in store for Bitcoin after this banking crisis. But before we do, please consider subscribing to our channel, as we bring you daily content on the latest crypto news. And now, let's jump right into the video.
I think this is a catalytic crisis which has cemented the great decoupling. Yeah, I think this crisis did it. I think you're watching it over the past 2 weeks, and you need a crisis to change people's deeply held beliefs. And I think the crypto meltdown, it kind of put everybody in the crypto industry on edge, where they had to say, well, what do I believe? And I think that if I polled 100 people in the crypto industry today, do you think that Bitcoin is good for crypto and is a base foundation for crypto? They say yes. And I think that in the mainstream media, I think that people were ignoring Bitcoin as a bank. You know what I say? I've been saying, if you go to hope.com and you read it, it says Bitcoin is a bank in cyberspace, right? I mean, that was on the site 2.5 years ago. Everybody ignored it. And they said Bitcoin is a speculative asset. And what's happened here is people said, oh my God, banks are hedge funds. And they said, wait a minute, banks are hedge funds. My deposits are given away to a bank to gamble with. I want a different bank. Bitcoin is a bank. It's not a hedge fund. And the difference today is, again, if you go to my Twitter, you see I posted a video of Chamath on the All In podcast. And Chamath is basically saying, man, what I've realized is we really need a bank that'll just store our money and not lend it out, right? I mean, but we're going to have to do that in software. We need a different approach. What would that approach be? And of course, the obvious approach was written in 2008 by Satoshi in the white paper. It's just that the entire world is having a hard time embracing the idea of Bitcoin as a bank and the value of a non-sovereign monetary asset, which is orthogonal to the currencies of the world and is absolutely scarce. And so I think Scott, we rotate from the narrative of crypto is Bitcoin and Bitcoin is speculation to the narrative of Bitcoin is actually a risk-off asset, and it's a bank in cyberspace run by incorruptible software, and it represents an alternative to the existing 20th century fractional banking system. If the price runs up $10,000, you have to have an explanation for why. And so the price movement causes people to say, well, I can't explain it the way I explained it before, because if everybody's in fear and the price is going up, there must be a different explanation. So I think what's happened here is the mainstream has embraced the idea that maybe they misunderstood Bitcoin And maybe it isn't just a batshit crazy speculative asset, but maybe it is actually a different approach to banking and a different approach to currency. And in a world where everybody in the world is simultaneously losing confidence in the banks and in their currencies, right? If you're not quick, you think, well, it's just the regional banks that are melting down. And if you're quicker, you think, well, the entire banking model is broken. And so at this point, a rational macro person, and I'm not saying they're all going to get it this fast, but a rational person says the entire banking model is broken, and then the entire fiat currency system is broken, and there's going to be a massive wave of money printing, and that means I need to have my wealth denominated in an asset which is not a currency derivative of the dollar or the peso, the bolivar, or the euro. I need a non-currency derivative, and I need to put my non-currency derivative in a bank without counterparty risk, which means maybe self-custody, or it just means I don't have to trust you, right? Somebody.
Saylor believes Bitcoin has emerged from the crisis with flying colors, and is now gearing up for the next bull run. Since the crypto gamblers have all been wiped out over the past year, Saylor is certain that this bull run will be much smoother, as a new class of investors who have realized that Bitcoin is a different approach to banking enter the space.
I think it's big catalytic change, Scott, and we're still early. Like, I'm not sure everybody else would say what I just said, but the writing is on the wall here. And I think that Bitcoin is through the worst of the crisis. And at this point, we're poised for the next bull run. And it should be a much more pleasant bull run, because everybody that thought it was a bright idea to rehypothecate Bitcoin and sell it short or naked or lose it, they've all been bankrupted in the past 12 months. And so given the fact that all of the players that were in the business of shorting Bitcoin or rehypothecating it got wiped out, and if you're holding Bitcoin after it got beat down 5 successive times from 66,000 to 16,000, I think you qualify as a true believer, right? And at 16,000, all of us were ready to write it to fucking zero, right? And so I think that that this is a coming of age catalytic event for Bitcoin. I think we've gotten through the crisis, and now this has steeled the resolve of the maximalist. There's 5 kinds of Bitcoin investors. There's the deniers, and they think it's just a tulip Ponzi scheme, tulip bulb, whatever, nothing. And they've been silenced because they've been made to look foolish. And then the second set of investors are the skeptics. They think it's too good to be true, the government will ban it. And a lot of people are in that camp, but the government hasn't banned it. The government's embraced it, guys. Let me lay this out. Jerome Powell, Christina Lagarde, Gary Gensler, Rostam Behnam, and Janet Yellen have all endorsed Bitcoin explicitly as a legitimate asset. So the skeptics are wrong, the deniers are fools, and now you've just got the traders, the technocrats, and the maximalists. The traders think it's either an uncorrelated asset or a correlated asset, and they've been dominating it. And there's a lot more traders. There's always going to be traders, and they'll do whatever they're going to do. The technocrats think it's a digital monetary network, and it's money over IP. And the technocrats are the same people that would hold Apple stock or Google stock for decades. And they're hardcore. And there's an avalanche of them coming. As soon as they start to see that Bitcoin is another approach to banking, oh my, it's the digital transformation of banking. Well, and then the maximalist, if you believe that Bitcoin is an instrument of economic empowerment, if you think it's an ethical good thing for 8 billion people, you're a maximalist. It's just a monetary protocol that gives property rights to 8 billion people that cannot be seized. That's my definition of maximalist. once you believe it's an instrument of economic empowerment, then of course you're going to do everything you can to spread it to 8 billion people and contribute to it, because it's ethically superior to just a good technical idea. Bitcoin's a protocol, and so a protocol is what allows you to be a commodity, not a security. And I think what's happening here is the deniers are gone, right? There's a nail in their coffin. If you're a denier like a Peter Schiff, right, you have no credibility left. The skeptics have stopped barking loudly that Bitcoin's too good to be true and the government will ban it. The skeptics are also, they're out of the mainstream. There's no credibility for them. The traders were trading it as a risk asset, and they were shorting it in order to hedge their NASDAQ portfolio. But the traders just got destroyed, Scott. The traders that were short Bitcoin got wrecked, and the traders, the crypto traders are all out of business. They're all bankrupt. And the mainstream traders are looking at this thing saying, I'm going to short this at my own risk. And now you've just got technocrats, and then you've got maximalists. And we're 1% of the journey. And I think that, I think that the contribution of people like Balaji is to point out to the mainstream world, Balaji is going to get the attention of all the technocrats, and he's going to get the attention of a lot of other people that everybody's got to wake up and pay attention to this. Bitcoin is legit. This is real. And this is an instrument to change the world for the better. And so I applaud that. And I think we should all be trumpeting that message.
In Saylor's perspective, Bitcoin is an idea whose time has come, and the next bull run is just around the corner. What do you think of Saylor's view on what's coming for Bitcoin? Will it finally hit the $100,000 mark that everyone was hoping for in 2021? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give us a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. This is Let's Talk Crypto, and we'll see you in the next video.